I'm Bob Riggio. With me is Dave Gates, a Vietnam veteran, and Dave's has some incredible stories that we'll be passing on to you folks, and I really, truly want you to pay attention to what Dave has to say. And his banner, among nearly 300 other banners, will be displayed all across the Rapid City area. That's the least we can do, honor these heroic veterans.
I was the NCOIC of the Americal Division Casualty Branch.
Now, what does that mean?
What does that mean? It means that after somebody was killed, we got the call, and the mortuary, okay, for simplicity's sake for everybody, we called it graves registration. So then we would get all the information over to graves registration to put it in a little black bag that would go in the body bag with the body to get shipped back to the States to be processed. I went over in May of 1969, and I came back in April of 1970.
Right there in the heart of the war, right?
Yeah, I was in the heart of the war, yeah. I went over to the Vietnam Wall when it was in Keystone, the moving wall, and I didn't want to go. And my wife and my brother-in-law and sister-in-law kind of forced me to go. And I was out there against the wall, and you walk across this gravel parking lot to get over to the wall. I didn't make it halfway to the wall, and I'm on my knees, sobbing my eyes out. That wall is so moving, it still moves me. They got them numbered by date of death, okay? So I got there in May of '69, so I said, okay, that's about here. And then I got over to April, the end of April of '70. I processed about 1,000 dead soldiers.
And you recognize many of those names on the wall.
Never knew a name. My mind will not let me remember. You know, you have a form you fill out, and it's everything on there. I went through there, and I had friends die. I can't even remember their names.
Even today?
Today. I bottled all this stuff up. You know, when you came back from Vietnam, and you know what it was like when we came back? We were pretty much ostracized. We got to a point as veterans that we didn't tell anybody we were a Vietnam veteran.
The country has a different attitude now for the Vietnam veterans. Am I correct or am I wrong?
No, you're correct. You're correct. It started to change after Desert Storm. I'll tell you a story. My son was 2 years old. That was '91. And the war was over, and all the soldiers are coming back, you know, getting ticker tape parades and everything. And I'm sitting here watching this on TV. And if I'd had a brick, I would have had to buy a new TV. I was so sick and tired of it. And then Paul Williams, he was singing a song, and he sang a song to these Iraqi guys. And he got done with the song, and he says, this song is not just for the Iraqi veterans, this is for the Vietnam veterans and the way that I treated you. He said, I am so sorry the way I treated you. And that just really broke it for me, you know. I buried this for 48 years. It came back in 2018, it came back with in a vengeance. And it was like I had just been to war. I got issues that, like one of them, it's going to take a while, and it's privilege. The issue of privilege. That I was going to church up at Rimrock one Sunday morning, and I'm heading down Jackson Boulevard, a bright sunny day in the summertime, and I see everybody walking on the bike path, you know, and strolling with their kids, and walking their dogs and bicycles and everything, guys out golfing, and I just got smacked with this sense of privilege. That these people do not understand how lucky they are to live in a country where 1 to 2%, it's less than 1% right now from what I understand, of the population will serve and protect the 99.5%. And that caused a lot of anger in my life.
Have you made it back to Vietnam at all since the war?
I don't know if I can. Well, for one thing, I can't handle the sound at all of a Vietnamese woman's voice. I cannot handle it. It goes right up my spine. And I don't know if because of that and a few other things if I could ever go back to that country. There's a story that helped me a lot that I need to tell everybody about. And that is a friend of mine from over in Grand Junction. Afghani sniper on counseling. His counselor is a Vietnam veteran. The guy's trying to cope, as we all are. And the Vietnam veteran told him, he says, you need to understand you're in your third life. So then I asked him, I said, what do you mean your third life? And he goes, well, your first life, when before you went in the service, take me, I'm in Mitchell, South Dakota, I'm working in a lumber yard, and I'm in the bowling league, and I'm out chasing girls and drinking beer and dancing and having a high old time. Come up on the draft, and boom, I go in and enlist. So I don't get drafted. Go into the service, I go to war. That's my second life. I come back from war in my third life to a country that's still in their first life. And we're sitting there trying to, as veterans, and that really helped me immensely when I got to the point that I realized that there's no going back for me. I will never be that Dave Gates ever again. I got the Bronze Star for my job, for what I did, okay? Which, you know, there's levels of Bronze Star. There was no V for Valor on this, which means that I wasn't in combat, but I still got a Bronze Star for the job, okay? When I came home, I was one angry soldier and took all my medals and threw them away. And my mother said, you can't throw them away. And I said, hell, I can't. I just threw them all away. And my mother saved my Bronze Star and gave it to me years later. And I am so glad she saved my Bronze Star.
You weren't the only one who did that, threw away their medals when they came back.
But we were told as soldiers so many times, we listened to the news, even if you're over there, the war is lost. That's all we ever heard. And they were getting on us soldiers over there. And they get us to the point that we start to doubt our mission, our focus, why we're even here. And a lot of us came back angry. Angry at the United States for a long time.
You're losing the war, and yet you have to deal with all of these soldiers who died fighting this war. And yet the country wasn't fully behind the war. Is that right?
Not at all. Not at all. I'm in Mitchell, and I get back and I'm sitting at the bar, and there was this gal, and she was a little cute, a couple years younger than me. And so she sits up at the bar beside me and we start talking. She was in college at that time. And so we started talking, and she said, are you a Vietnam veteran? I said, yeah. And she just got up, took a drink, and walked away. Turned her back. So that started me closing off that situation right there. Then I got shut down to the point that I started to ostracize the Vietnam veterans myself. Yeah, really, I'm ashamed of that. But then it's just what society did to us. I guess, you know, the only thing I could say to everybody is if you got a brother or a dad or someone like this who is a veteran that saw a lot of stuff and you're pretty much sure you did and he doesn't want to talk about it, don't push. Let him come to you on his own time. And if he doesn't, that's okay too. But, you know, don't push to the point that you alienate your relative. More important to keep your dad than it is to understand within yourself what he went through, because you'll never understand. Right. So, you know, just don't push.
Dave, let me shake your hand and say from the bottom of my heart, once again, thank you for your service, and I truly mean that. Thank you for your service, sir.
Thank you.